your new line board, this is going to be a quick tutorial, just kind of get you set up and started with it. With your new line board, you've got a couple of things that you should find in your classroom when you get there. You have the remote control. You should have a pen on either side of it. You should also have a wireless keyboard, which is going to be attached to a Chrome box secured to the back of your board. And if you're one of our lucky ones that got a board installed over the summer, they also are coming with a screen cleaning kit. And so that has a solution and a microfiber cloth for you to hold on to keep the screen clean. So let's go over first, how do we clean the screen as long as we've got it off? First thing you want to do is make sure that the Newline board is turned off. You also want to give it some time to cool down. You don't want to clean it right after you've turned it off while the board is hot, or not hot, but warm from being used. So you want to let it sit for a little bit and you'll check it out. Now, when you've got your microfiber cloth, what you're going to do to clean this is you're going to take the cleaning solution. Now, you don't have to use just this cleaning solution, but you want to use something that's made for either eyeglasses or television screens, something that is alcohol and ammonia free. Custodial staff in the buildings have cleaning solutions that are alcohol free, so you can get something from there, or you can get something that is alcohol or ammonia free. You do not want to use an alcohol-based or ammonia-based on this because it will take off the surface, but this is a great tool to get rid of fingerprints or smudges that over time that you'll see. The way that you would clean the screen, quite simply, you'd take your alcohol-free solution, and with the board off, what you would do is spray the wipe of the board. Just get a little bit on there, and then you would simply come by and wipe the board off. And that's all you would need to do is you can wipe the board off, you can wipe everything off as you see fit. Now this is a brand new board, so it just gives you kind of a little bit. You don't ever want to spray cleaner onto the screen, because what can happen is it can drip down into the electrical components and it can cause problems with the display board. Definitely do not use any whiteboard cleaner that you have. You definitely want to keep that away, get rid of that, put that someplace else. This is alcohol based and it will strip the protective layer of your screen. So you only want to use alcohol-free cleaning. Now back to your board. A little bit about what you've got with this. Now, first thing that you know is you've got your remote. Great tool for turning it on and off, but you can do everything right from the board itself. Power button is the bottom left-hand corner. Red light means it's off. We're going to push that button. It's going to turn the board on for us. And that's going to give it a second to warm itself up. While it's doing that, give it a little tour of the board. This is the Newline RS Plus 4K Interactive Display. At the bottom, you have two front-facing speakers. You have two writing pens on either side that are magnetic that you can just simply hold up there. Now, depending on the age of your kids or what you decide best, is it better to hide those pens, keep them somewhere, bring them out when you need to, so they don't maybe walk away or grow legs on them. So you could look at any of those things. Down here at the bottom, you have, along the left-hand side, you have a front panel that has the buttons for your volume control, home, return. You also have some inputs for an HDMI, USB inputs as well, and an audio input for it. On the left-hand side, if you're facing the board, you're going to see USB slots that you also have at the rear of the board. You have another HDMI slot. There is a Wi-Fi dongle in there that you want to make sure you leave alone because that's how you get your wireless internet access. And somewhere on this board, typically on this left-hand side, will be your Chrome box, which we're going to get to. Your board starts up. This is your start screen. And so the start screen is just going to give you the time. So this essentially would be your locked or away state for your board. We hit the start button to turn on the board or activate the board. And this is going to activate with your home screen. Now, there's other videos that I'm going to show you on how to customize all of your screen elements and everything that you've got here. But along the left, you have your sources, which we can customize. There'll be another video that you can see for your customizing your sources. Customize your background, and then you have your time at the top left, and over here you see these are all the things that are connected for you. The USB will always be there because that's your Wi-Fi dongle that you've got. You have your wireless internet. You have your settings that you can get to. We'll talk a little bit about how to set those. And then the person running is kind of your return to start or your exit, if you will, to exit back out of the screen. Along both the left and the right by default are your quick menus or your toolbars. Again, those toolbars can be customized as well. And a couple of things that you can do with those, depending on how you've got those set up. You have your annotate screen, your whiteboard, home button, return, and your apps that are loaded or launched, as well as your source selection. With your menus that you have on either side, there will always be there for you, regardless of what source you're in. So you can do a couple things if you want to get rid of them. One, you can hold down your finger and you can move them up and down to get them into a location that works for you. You can also set it so that you only have one of them visible. So you only have either the left side or the right side, not both, if you prefer to have just one. And if I double tap on the top of it, I can scrunch it down or hide it to just look like an equal sign. And I can double tap to open them up again if I want to, and that will open them up. You can also do a pinch method where you pinch the top and the bottom, and you can shrink them, pinch top and bottom, and shrink those out so that you can get those. From your home screen, a couple of things that you've got. You have, if you would like to, you can set up, and what we would do, what I recommend first is you tailor, and I'm going to show you how to do this in this intro video. Hold your finger down on any one of these buttons just for a little bit. That's going to open up your kind of the buttons that it'll get. By default, you're probably going to have the Windows on there. We don't have a PC that's installed. There's a Chrome box, which fits better into the Albert Lee system. So we're going to use that. So if you take that, you can check to turn it on or off. So for this first box, I want it to be our HDMI 1 because that's going to be the spot that the Chrome box is installed on. I can click, what do I want to have next? I've got my screen sharing that I want to have on here, my whiteboard, but you have other options that you can choose on here for what I would like to have. I'm not going to use this board for my browser. I'm going to use other, like my Google Chromebox for that. So what I might do is come down to this one, and I'm going to change this one to show, let's see, I'm going to show this to show my connections. So let's see, we'll do this at maybe the HDMI front because I'm going to have my document camera set up there. So I'm going to have that set up. So when you're done with all of that, what we can do is we can close this out. We can also add more to it. So if I hit this add button, I can add something else to it. So say I would like to add the display port or anything else. I can pick something else that I want to add. I can close this out so that I've got this here. A little bit more, kind of getting us going and getting us started with this. When you get into this, you're probably going to have to do some updating to get everything going. So when we look at this, and we'll get into each one of these individually, but we can look at how do we update and get those things set up. And so what we're going to do here is if we go into our settings, I'm going to walk you through some of the basic settings that I think you should do. Now, you're going to leave the network alone. Bluetooth, language input, date, time should all be set for you, everything that you've got there. What you've got for the whiteboard, you can choose. There's two versions for the whiteboard. I prefer the new version. The only difference is the classic board is like a dark background as opposed to a white background. So I like the new version. If you prefer the classic version, you could change back to the classic version. This is where your display theme, where you can change the theme of your board if you would like to. You have the classic theme, which is what it is by default. You can also choose the colorful theme, which is a little bit more for you if you would like. I'll leave that on there so if you want to see the colorful theme. It's a cool little thing that you've got there. There's no other themes really that you can choose, but those are the two options. With the wallpaper, you can upload additional pictures if you'd like to for new wallpaper. You can put something else on there if you would like to, just to add those into there. And then what we've got here, we're going to go back in, and this is where I was talking about the toolbar customization. These are the toolbars that you have on the left and the right. The left one, you can turn them on or off, whichever one you want. You have the option for a customized icon. So what we've got here is my Windows machine, which it would change to be the Windows machine, right? And so then this would show, if I hit OK, it gives me my PC down at the bottom here. I can also change this to be my task. The task is going to be what are the apps that we have open. So I like this one because as you're using the Newline gadgets and apps, which ones do you want to turn off or close? It's a lot like your phone where you want to make sure that if you have too many apps running, it'll start to slow your system down. So you want to close your apps out. So I've changed my theme. I'm going to go back into my settings here. And I'm going to go back into my toolbar customization. I like the task one to get that. And then your favorite connection, what we can do here for our favorite connection, This is going to be whatever your Chromebox is attached to, which is going to make it easy for you to get to. So then we're going to get that. And then with your quick settings, you can get that turned on. So now I've got both of our toolbars turned on, but say I want to turn the right bar off because I'm only going to work from the left side. You'll notice now that the bar is turned off on the one side. So we've got that. Last couple of things that you would like to do for it is down here for updates. This is where you go to System and Updates, and you can do the system update to see if there's an update that needs to be done for you. Tech will always try to work and get these, push these updates out to it, but you can always check, see if there's something that you need to do. Definitely don't do an update just before class gets started. Some of the updates could take a long time. So if you're ever going to do an update, do it at the end of the day before you go home, not 5 minutes before the kids are walking into your classroom. So that's going to